Hi everybody and welcome to Hex Token channel. Your host Superman in the house. Hope you guys are doing well out there, and of course hopefully the audio is playing too. We're going to have a lot of fun. There's about 20 seconds delay on this one, so it takes me a little bit of time to catch up logically with the video screen. I can still ticking away 6 seconds. It's quite a long delay, but great to see everybody in the house. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Yeah, the Fed was it's a little hawkish, but we expected that, right? So this is the way it's going to go. I think that it's not as bad in some ways also. So we'll probably try and talk about that during this live stream. So I hope you guys enjoy that. So yeah, we're going to be covering the stock market, the Federal Reserve and interest rate announcement. We're going to obviously get into crypto, excuse me. And we're going to also obviously get into Hex ecosystem and Pulsechain projects. And much more. We're also going to look at our poll that we did on the community tab of YouTube. We'll talk about that at the end, plus the Hex Daily Stats. We've got lots in store, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. Let me just double check the audio's going as well. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. So yeah, we're using OBS on this. We're trying to just go to the next level, so I hope you guys enjoy this one. Let's get into the chat. We've got a few people in the house, so let's have a look. I'll make sure that my mouse is working as well. Here it is, there's my mouse. Let's put the old mute on. And of course, we've got a few people in the house there. We've got Brennan. Brennan's in the house, already got a comment about the Federal Reserve. I think JP outlook was being conservative, considering they were much less when they started rising rates. Obviously, the rates started from zero. And of course, was it his hawkish tone, I believe, will not be so bad, and I think markets are pricing that in at the moment. Hey Brennan, I'm probably in the same camp as you. It's kind of quasi-hawkish is the way I'd probably put it. And Wookie's in the house there. Wookie thinks it's not easy to be first. Hello, Brennan. Good to see you, Wookie. Check my pulse in the house as well. What's up, Superman? Good to see you also. And of course, what's up, my people? Says check my pulse. What's up, my people? And it feels like we're out of the movie of Roots or something like that. What's up, my people? Hello, how are you today? Says Lives Beneath. And of course, the ultimate strategy is Hex, a PLS and PLSX for the win, 100% on that one. And of course, what else we got? We got a couple of comments. AP in the house. I was wrong. Was definitely hoping for some dovish talk today. Yeah, AP didn't quite expect that. I think we got what we expected, and we've been talking about that on this channel. So we're going to actually talk a little bit about that during the live stream, so stay tuned for that. Sarah's in the house. Hey, good to see you. Let's go. Absolutely, Sarah. Great to see you as always. And of course, Sandy Beach has arrived. Hi everybody. Good to see Sandy Beach. Christian in the house as well. Let's get it, familiar. Good to see Christian as well. Saw you guys all in Discord yesterday having a good chat. That's great. Discord really is great for the community, so get in there, have chats, really get engaged and make it lively. We've got good information, good community in there, and of course having good audio chats here. People can talk about crypto, non-crypto, prices, all sorts of stuff in there, so go in there and make the most of it. We've got unprotected hexes in the house as well. Fingers crossed crypto winter lasts another 6 months. More time to accumulate. Yeah, there's probably going to that's probably about right, and there's probably going to be some volatility in there. At the moment though, crypto may have a different narrative from the stock market. So we're going to talk about the pros and cons of that as well. We're still expecting some sort of final hammer, but I kind of feel that the crypto is probably going to be a lot more resilient than the stock market. We're going to talk about some of the reasons why that might be over that 6 month period. So there's a pretty good comment there from Unprotected Hex. Who else is in the house there? We've got Tufon. Good to see Tufon. Woo! Hey, good to see you, Tufon. And we've got a few more comments in as well. DG and Hexkin says, yo, good to see you. Acid Thunder, evening sir. Hey, good to see you, Acid Thunder. I like the name, pretty powerful. So it's like a gamer's name in some ways. DGN says, you stake any Geni? It's day one today. No, I haven't. Anyone still here will do well in the bull run. This is Dave. That's right. So if you're here during the bear market, typically you're the ones that people are talking about later on when the bull market comes, that's for sure. Check my poll says, yes, DCA, stack them chips, load them bags like they are LV. Hexkin Warrior prepared for the battle. Let's go, says Christian. Katie's in the house. Hey, good to see one of our moderators. Hey, I'm here. Good to see you, Super, and everybody. Pulse Beta as well has dropped in there. Good morning, Super. Good to see you, P. And great to see everybody in the house. Now, if you haven't subscribed, smash the subscribe button, hit the like button as well. And we're going to get into it. Check my pulse said, this is where legends are made. That's true with the top hat. That's old Richard Top Hat, I guess. That's pretty cool. All right, so cool. Let's get into it, folks. Are you ready? Let's get ready to rumble. And, of course, we're going to get into it. The stock market today. Dow ends lower as Fed hikes, signals higher for longer regime. Higher for longer, so higher interest rates for longer. And, of course, that's what we've been talking about on this channel. So this is pretty much on the money. We have been keeping very close eye on the Federal Reserve. And, of course, it is playing out pretty dividends. You know, having a good realistic expectation of where they are heading. Now, the Dow Jones Industrials there are down 0.4%, down 142 points, just below 34,000. Can you believe it? 33,966. And, of course, the S&P 500 down 0.6%, 24 points, down to just below 4,000. We're battling these two marks here at 3,995. Remember, the Dow Jones has got the top 30 industrial firms in it, probably just at least the ones that are in the index. And, of course, then we've got the NASDAQ as well, down 7, just almost 0.8%, 86 points, down to 11,170, still defending that 11,000 mark. But we see big volatility in here for months now. We've seen this, but they're still holding up. We have not had a big capitulation in the stock market yet. Obviously, many people are talking about that for next year. With recession coming, typically earnings season will also get impacted by recession and, of course, high and relatively high inflation, squeezing those margins, pulling down the earnings season as well, getting those multiples down, maybe down to 16. It's way above that in many cases, so we'll see. The dollar index is at just down 1/3%, down to 103.218 against its trading partners. We saw more news out there about China. China's still trying to undermine the US dollar reserve currency. These guys are going to keep chipping away on that front, but that's a bigger topic for another day. Let's get into the commodities. Commodities up again, second day in a row, 2.68% for Brent oil there, $2.16 up to $82.84, but still well off about a month ago. So not too bad there. Let's have a look at the month ago and have a look at Brent oil. Yeah, so a month ago it was up at around at $95.60. So it's down at $82.84, but it did get as low as $75. So it's really up quite strongly in the last couple of days. So it has made quite a bit of a rebound there. West Texas is pretty much flat at $77.38 on West Texas there. Jumping to gold and silver, gold is up 55 cents to $1,819. And of course, you can see a month ago it was down around about $17.80. It's now $18.90. So what's that, about $50? $40 there. $40 on gold over the last month. Silver is it's pretty flat here. I'm not sure why that is, but it's got $24.17. And of course, that a month ago was at $22. It's obviously in the resistance zone between pretty much $24 and $28. And so we'll see whether it can do something fancy and beat expectations. We'll see. That's pretty much the stock market results. Let's have a look at the commentary. The Dow Jones closed lower Wednesday, but swung wildly between gains and losses as the Fed Reserve moved to a slower pace of rate hikes, but also signals rate hikes to peak at higher levels than previously expected. We're going to talk about that too, so stay tuned for that. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates by 0.5%. That's 50 basis points on Wednesday, and lifted its forecast for rates to a peak at 5.1%. That's very important. What have we been saying on this channel? Between 5 and 5.25. So there we are, folks. Right in the bang middle there, and remain at this level through to 2023. We might be. This is where I think we might have a little bit more dovish play. Obviously, when is the actual pivot? So obviously we've got three things happening there. How fast we get up to a terminal rate, how long we hold that terminal rate at 5.1, for example, and of course then when it actually pivots on the other side. And of course we know typically the stock market more often than not actually tanks after that rather than getting a rally, and that's because of the economic impacts of the interest rates and other variables going on that normally are delayed, right? They're delayed, and so the earnings get tighter. The climate's still pretty bad, and then of course then we have some sort of hockey stick after that. Let's see how that plays out. All right, so cool. That was above the 4.6% forecast in September. So this is the very big difference here. 4.6 is the federal funds rate terminal level, that top rate. Of course, once they stop raising rates, and of course now we've got 5.1%, so it's 50 basis points higher than the forecast in September. So that's how much things have changed. So what does that mean in the future? Means that these forecasts of 5.1, that could change too. So if inflation does keep coming back month after month, then there's the Fed's got less of a reason to raise rates so aggressively, or at least shorten the period of time that they are very high and then drop them. Now we know typically the Fed's going to go slightly higher than they need to, and of course then obviously it's the timing. How many months are we going to be in for having that high terminal rate and pull that back? Of course. Now crypto has is a bit more complicated with crypto. We're going to talk about a bit about that later. So that was above the 4.6 forecast in September and poured cold water somewhat on Wall Street expectations for a rate cut in the second half of next year. And of course, the Fed also continued to project a soft landing for the economy, though there aren't many who share their optimism. Now, we know the Fed's been wrong just about on everything, right? So don't get too optimistic about the Fed's projections there. I remember inflation was going to be transitory. Remember that one? That was a pretty big one. So yeah, just let's see where they go. Hopefully, if they don't get higher than 5.1, that would be very good news. Obviously, if inflation rebounds, we'll see. Once again, it is hard to believe that the Fed is capable of pulling off such a delicate landing of the economy onto a gradual glide path towards somewhat lower growth, only mildly higher unemployment and on-target inflation. Yeah, it's unlikely to happen, I think. Treasury yields delivered a lackluster move on the news, with the 2-year, which is sensitive to the Fed rate hikes, retreating from its session highs. Financials, mostly banks, were the worst hit in the Fed's hawkish stance. Renewed fears about the central bank over-tightening monetary policy and pushing the economy into recession. Obviously, banks are being impacted by that. Technology stocks fell 1% as big tech traded mixed. Obviously, with Apple and Alphabet ending the day lower, while Microsoft Corporation and Meta platforms were in the green. You got to remember, these top tech stocks have actually, make up a big amount of the indexes, and of course a big amount of the growth as well. Healthcare was the only sector to end the day in the green. So the healthcare, we looked at the sectors yesterday, remember? And we might do that more often, I think. It's really quite interesting to see the broader sectors play out. And of course, we saw how communications was really dismal. We saw how cyclical consumables weren't very good either. And so we've seen how amazing energy has been over the last year. It really does help you to pick out the sectors a lot better. As investors continue to cheer the drug maker's positive news on its skin cancer drug from a day earlier. So that sounds pretty good as well for the Moderna. In other news, the Delta Airlines cut the bulk of its gains despite forecasting a jump in earnings next year, underpinned by strong travel demand that is expected to continue into 2023. So there we are. That is some of the highlights there. We're going to get into the Fed, though. This is going to be the Fed speech. We're going to watch the whole thing. It's about 7 minutes. I will post the whole Fed interview, as I always do, after this live stream. That includes the question time, which is about 33 minutes, 35 minutes long, something like that. But we're just going to listen to the speech, so hopefully this is of insight, especially if you haven't watched it already. So let me mute myself and play the video.
Good afternoon. Before I go into the details of today's meeting, I'd like to underscore for the American people that we understand the hardship that high inflation is causing, and that we are strongly committed to bringing inflation back down to our 2% goal. Over the course of the year, we've taken forceful actions to tighten the stance of monetary policy. We've covered a lot of ground, and the full effects of our rapid tightening so far are yet to be felt. Even so, we have more work to do. Price stability is the responsibility of the Federal Reserve and serves as the bedrock of our economy. Without price stability, the economy doesn't work for anyone. In particular, without price stability, we will not achieve a sustained period of strong labor market conditions that benefit all. Today, the FOMC raised our policy interest rate by 0.5 percentage point, We continue to anticipate that ongoing increases will be appropriate in order to attain a stance of monetary policy that is sufficiently restrictive to return inflation to 2% over time. In addition, we're continuing the process of significantly reducing the size of our balance sheet. Restoring price stability will likely require maintaining a restrictive policy stance for some time. I'll have more to say about today's monetary policy actions after briefly reviewing economic developments. The U.S. economy has slowed significantly from last year's rapid pace. Although real GDP rose at a pace of 2.9% last quarter, it is roughly unchanged through the first 3 quarters of this year. Recent indicators point to modest growth of spending and production this quarter. Growth in consumer spending has slowed from last year's rapid pace, in part reflecting lower real disposable income and tighter financial conditions. Activity in the housing sector has weakened significantly, largely reflecting higher mortgage rates. Higher interest rates and slower output growth also appear to be weighing on business fixed investment. As shown in our summary of economic projections, the median projection for real GDP growth stands at just 0.5% this year and next, well below the median estimate of the longer-run normal growth rate. Despite the slowdown in growth, the labor market remains extremely tight, with the unemployment rate near a 50-year low, job vacancies still very high, and wage growth elevated. Job gains have been robust, with employment rising by an average of 272,000 jobs per month over the last 3 months. Although job vacancies have moved below their highs and the pace of job gains has slowed from earlier in the year, the labor market continues to be out of balance, with demand substantially exceeding the supply of available workers. The labor force participation rate is little changed since the beginning of the year. FOMC participants expect supply and demand conditions in the labor market to come into better balance over time, easing upward pressures on wages and prices. The median projection in the SEP for the unemployment rate rises to 4.6% at the end of next year. Inflation remains well above our longer-run goal of 2%. Over the 12 months ending in October, total PCE prices rose 6%. Excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 5%. In November, the 12-month change in the CPI was 7.1%, and the change in the core CPI was 6%. The inflation data received so far for October and November show a welcome reduction in the monthly pace of price increases. But it will take substantially more evidence to give confidence that inflation is on a sustained downward path. Price pressures remain evident across a broad range of goods and services. Russia's war against Ukraine has boosted prices for energy and food and has contributed to upward pressure on inflation. The median projection in the SEP for total PCE inflation is 5.6% this year and falls to 3.1% next year, 2.5% in 2024, and 2.1% in 2025. Participants continue to see risks to inflation as weighted to the upside. Despite elevated inflation, longer-term inflation expectations appear to remain well anchored, as reflected in a broad range of surveys of households, businesses, and forecasters, as well as measures from financial markets. But that is not grounds for complacency. The longer the current bout of high inflation continues, the greater the chance that expectations of higher inflation will become entrenched. The Fed's monetary policy actions are guided by our mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. My colleagues and I are acutely aware that high inflation imposes significant hardship as it erodes purchasing power, especially for those least able to meet the higher costs of essentials like food, housing, and transportation. We are highly attentive to the risks that high inflation poses to both sides of our mandate, and we are strongly committed to returning inflation to our 2% objective. At today's meeting, the committee raised the target range for the federal funds rate by a half percentage point, bringing the target range to 4.25% to 4.5%. and we are continuing the process of significantly reducing the size of our balance sheet. With today's action, we have raised interest rates by 4.25 percentage points this year. We continue to anticipate that ongoing increases in the target range for the federal funds rate will be appropriate in order to attain a stance of monetary policy that is sufficiently restrictive to return inflation to 2% over time. Over the course of the year, financial conditions have tightened significantly in response to our policy actions. Financial conditions fluctuate in the short term in response to many factors, but it is important that over time they reflect the policy restraint that we're putting in place to return inflation to 2%. We are seeing the effects on demand in the most interest-sensitive sectors of the economy, such as housing. It will take time, however, for the full effects of monetary restraint to be realized, especially on inflation. In light of the cumulative tightening of monetary policy and the lags with which monetary policy affects economic activity and inflation, the committee decided to raise interest rates by 50 basis points today, a step down from the 75 basis point pace seen over the previous 4 meetings. Of course, 50 basis points is still a historically large increase, and we still have some ways to go. As shown in the SEP, the median projection for the appropriate level of the federal funds rate is 5.1% at the end of next year, a half percentage point higher than projected in September. The median projection is 4.1% at the end of 2024 and 3.1% at the end of 2025, still above the median estimate of its longer run value. Of course, these projections do not represent a committee decision or plan, and no one knows with any certainty where the economy will be a year or more from now. Our decisions will depend on the totality of incoming data and their implications for the outlook for economic activity and inflation. And we will continue to make our decisions meeting by meeting and communicate our thinking as clearly as possible. We are taking forceful steps to moderate demand so that it comes into better alignment with supply. Our overarching focus is using our tools to bring inflation back down to our 2% goal and to keep longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Reducing inflation is likely to require a sustained period of below-trend growth and some softening of labor market conditions. Restoring price stability is essential to set the stage for achieving maximum employment and stable prices over the long run. The historical record cautions strongly against prematurely loosening policy. We will stay the course until the job is done. To conclude, we understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission. We at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals.
So there we are, folks. That was the video, of course, for the Federal Reserve and, of course, the bank governor. My old computer that I use on the left here's crashed, so I'm trying to reboot it. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, you guys are doing well out there, and of course, that was some insight. So basically, it's really the employment being stubborn, the wage inflation. Wage inflation, of course, playing into this drive, and of course they're pleased with the inflation coming down, CPI, and of course the PCE, but of course more work to be done. Yeah, quite vague, of course, on the actual rates that we'll end up with. 5.1 is currently the terminal rate target. That's 0.5% higher than September. So we'll see where we head from here. I think that was a bit of a mixed bag. Certainly not full-on hawkish, kind of quasi-hawkish is the way I'd look at it. Let's get into some of the comments in the chat, though, before we move on to the crypto markets and how they've responded. I've sort of alluded to it in the title of the video that they've kind of held up at this stage. And there are some different drivers going on in crypto compared to the stock market, which is, probably straight off the bat is impacted earlier, really, one would think. We got... Acid Thunder says that the name Acid Thunder is from an old house music tune. Fast Eddie, says Acid Thunder. And of course, the Doji in the house there, need more dry powder for my hex bags. Humberto in the house as well. Cheers from sunny Miami, crypto capital of the USA. Woohoo! Good to see you there, Humberto. We also got Sandy Beach shares great cause from Ragnar Richards. Great course. I'm not sure what that's about. I can't wait until they have advanced topics. More great for onboarding. Sandy Beach says, CC from Liquid Loans followed me on Twitter today. Nice one there, Sandy Beach. You are quite the influencer there, Sandy. People are waiting for you to, I don't know, get on to YouTube or something like that. We've got, what else? We've got great for onboarding. Check my pulse, absolutely. What a wonderful community. Yeah, it's a fantastic community we're in, really. Especially the ones that are revolve around this channel. We've got particularly good people around here. Hexkins will lead the way to mass acceptance. So check my pulse. Very cool. Let me just log back on. I'm just booting my old computer here that's crashed on me. What else there? We've got Katie's in house there. Team is working hard and helping onboard new no corners into the DeFi space. Definitely doing that. Who else is here? Katie says, I think we can get a max of 75 basis point rise. Well, that's from Brennan. In a new year, that would be dovish outcome. I think so. Quasi hawkish is the way I look at it. Yeah, with the timing. Yeah, we had some sort of spam person in there for a little while. They just came from X-Ray Vision. Nice one. Who else is in here? Hex Token says, hey all, good to see you. Who let the dogs out? Indeed. Nice work there on moderating the chat. Let's have a look. As soon as I chatted about PLSD, the dog shillers came in, says Hex Token. Yeah, that's pretty funny. It may take a while for like a whole year, next year, to at least get that down to 2%. Yeah, it's going to take a while. I agree with Hex Token on that one. They forgot that they work for us and we allowed them all this power to check my pulse. The Fed is not federal, though, and not elected. You're supposed to be neutral, but of course, if you look at their policy positions, they do align with the current administration, so you make of that what you will. There is nothing federal and reserve about the Federal Reserve. Yeah, we've got Warhammer in the house there, BS Federal Reserve. I believe that 100 countries are looking to do this move towards the CBDC system. Yeah, I did post a video on an update on that, so you can check that out as well. Producer Michael in house, the world's biggest rug pull, slow rug by the Fed. Yeah, a little bit like that. Now, obviously, they don't take into account the spending by the current administration. And of course, we just see actually there's still a few rhinos left in the GOP as well, which are supporting this nonsense, like Mitch McConnell. Unfortunately, getting rid of people like that is very hard. And of course, while the rest of the party has been improving, we've still got a few of those old, almost traitors, in my view, traitors in there. The world's biggest rug pull, slow rug by the Fed. Yeah, better start adopting BTC as a global and possibly intergalactic currency as soon as possible. Yeah, well, if Elon Musk gets to Mars, right, it'll be in some sort of galactic type of coin there as well. As Dana says, did you see the hearing about FTX today? I don't watch those because they're pretty silly. I have seen bits of clips of them, but they're almost a waste of time. And of course, I know there was a lot of drama in there. And of course, the Democrats pretty much trying to close it down, right, because of the exposure with the FTX funds there. But I probably will watch some later on, but it's certainly not as important as the Fed there, in my view. Thanks, Hex Token. I'm not an influencer, but just a supporter, says Sandy Beach. You might be a mega supporter, Sandy, or mega influencer supporter, something like that. Australia has a petition for the people to sign against getting rid of cash. Now that's a fundamental thing. If they get rid of cash, that's a human right. As soon as they've put you in there, hey, looks like we've got something coming up there. I didn't catch that. Some bell came up there. Maybe a new member of the channel, so big shout out. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the bell as well. I'm just going to try and log back onto this old computer here as we go. All right, so cool. As it done says, frustrating how little they know. Elizabeth Warren lol says, yeah. Hey, they don't know much at all, and it's really because crypto's fashionable and a rebel. They kind of, they really don't know much at all. I mean, this is the whole problem with them. Most of them are ideologues, and they're pretty crazy at that on the Democrat Party. But there's still problems in the GOP party, like Mitch McConnell and some of the leaderships there. They are playing the big old game, the swamp game, as it were. All right, cool. Let's have a quick look at. Let me just pull this down a little bit here. Oh, let me just make sure that's. I've lost the comment section there. Let me have a look at that. All right, let's get into crypto. And of course, man, we're just BTC 17,800. I saw this at 18,000 yesterday, which was last night before I tuned in for the evening. We got up. I saw it, or at least sometime here. Was it 1,800? Yeah, 1,800. Look at that. We got 1,800 there. which was pretty cool. And of course, we're holding up. BTC's holding up. Now, there's quite a few differences, right? With don't typically have earnings in this, so we're not particularly as impacted by the interest rates and stuff. Now, there's two basic things that come into crypto, in my view. Oh, yes, we have DeFi and CeFi, but we don't see a lot of those things, and that's subject to more broader issues. So we've got incomes and wealth. Wealth effects. So obviously the stock market affects wealth effects, but you can't. You either got owning stocks or you're owning crypto, right? So we've got a bit of that timing issue as well. But we've got the wealth effect with property, stocks, and things like that, assets that you own, and we've got incomes, right? And when at the moment we know the Fed is targeting employment and wages and things like that, which has a detriment impact on employment normally. But that, because of the current administration's policies, there's probably a lot of things that aren't playing out as easy as they would be. Obviously, fiscal spending, and of course, massive labour markets, and of course, the southern border, millions of people flooding through there. Now, I'm not sure how well that flows into official data, but definitely there's big demand for jobs, and there's been a slight slowdown in the job vacancies, but of course, the unemployment rate is super low. And we have getting a lot of that wage inflation as well. So still a big deal for the Fed to work through there. But in terms of crypto, really we've got the wealth effect and income effect that's coming into this market. So I think that's a bit more delayed. So I think that crypto has a bit more resilience in it. The problem is that crypto has its specific issues at the moment, like FTX, like regulators hunting around for a good cause. And we saw Bankman-Friedman arrested a day before the committee. That's all just a setup, man. Honestly, I listened to the district attorney for the US. That was just BS. The timeline of the arrest. That's all just playing. That's all playing in the games. We know how New York rolls with the Democrat Party, and that was just one big setup. I just laughed when I heard that stuff. They basically didn't want to testify, right? Imagine the GOP getting to question him on the donations and the deeper chain of line thought there. They already shut that down in the current committee, right? With the committee chair, so we'll see how that plays out. In any case, ETH there at $1,307, down almost 1% there. But this BTC holding up this price really, really cool at the moment. The final hammer has not yet landed, and maybe it's not until February, March next year. Who knows? November seemed like a very timely position. Obviously, we got if we get any charges against Binance, that might be an issue for the market. With any charges against them, we will see. That's not a certainty at this stage. BNB, of course, is $267, down 1.5%. What else is interesting here? Stable coins both still slightly below peg. This is like the third day in a row. What else? That's pretty much it. Everything else is looking okay that I can tell from here. All right, so cool. Let's jump over to Sam Bankman-Fried. I don't know if you've seen these pictures, but apparently it's in Bahamas and being arrested there. So there we are, and holding him. He's not allowed on bail. He tried to get petition on bail. Now, him and Caroline have both hired top lawyers to defend themselves, as you would. So we'll see how that plays out in the courts. Now, hopefully the courts will be able to flush out a lot of the things. We will see. But of course, the people prosecuting are only going to be after the fraud type arguments. They're not going to be deeper down into the politics. So that's where the committee might have been able to flesh some stuff out there. But this is the play. All right, so that's kind of where we are there at the moment on that one. So I thought you'd find that pretty cool. Bad boys, what are you going to do? Now, apparently the prison that he's in, apparently is one of the worst in the world or something. We wish him safety there. But we also wish justice for the people that lost the billions of dollars and the millions of people there. All right, so cool. We got Hex turned into Hex. But before we do that, let me just pull up the old chart here. I'm just trying to get back into YouTube so I can see it on this computer. Let me have a look here. Couple more comments in the chat there. Let me just go down here. Producer Mike says, take everything Mr. Powell and Klaus says, just not my guns and my Hex. Yeah. Well, all the progressive governments in the world that work with the WF are trying to take guns away at the moment. So in Canada, trying to take hunting guns away. Because if the civilians don't have any guns, even if they're using them for civilian purposes, then once they put in their full-on authoritarian regime, you can't fight back, right? So that's pretty much the way they're playing that. We've already seen the police as well The police pretty much, we saw this in New Zealand, in Wellington, the police pretty much turned on the people that were protesting. These are people that lost their jobs and their livelihoods, and they would camp down outside the parliament. And of course, the police turn on them. They use sonic sound weapons. They use massive physical force. Videos of them hyping themselves up before they go in and do the old bash. And we saw the government not talking to them either. The government was not willing to engage after they made them unemployed and wrecked their lives. And of course, then the police turn on them. The police do not work for you, and they work for the government. And that's unfortunate because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be the other way around, right? Pretty much it. We got who else there? Michael Racine, we're killing it, yeah, and that's true. We got to talk about crypto in the house there. SBF is screwed. Hey, it's a family channel, and we have to delete that comment, unfortunately. Hey, where's my moderators, man? Supposed to be deleting this stuff. Token is Ethereum, a security. Michael Racine in the house there, Superman, woohoo! Good to see you, Michael. And of course, Christian as well. SBF looks like he's about to cry. It does look a little bit like that in that picture. Billions and billions of funds are lost. The look on SBF's face, priceless. Yeah. Hey, look, scary place to be in a scary prison like that. He's used to living the high life, and things are about to change a lot. Jim Rakuta says 1% of US population is in prison. Prison is dangerous, but he will be okay unless the feds want him gone for snitching precaution. Yeah, he'll probably only be there for a little while, won't he, until they extradite him. A family channel says Sandy Beach. That's right. Oh shoot, sorry, Token says to America. That's all right, man. Family channel. Yep, forgot family channel friendly. That's right. I was first. Lost says Sandy Beach. You were Sandy Beach. All right, cool. Let's get into it though. Here is Hex. Hex got sold down by a big account, obviously a couple of hours ago. This is on the hourly chart. We can see that there. Let me just get rid of the side profile there. So it is on the hourly chart, and we can see that Hex got sold down. And of course, we're actually starting to make momentum here because only was it yesterday we got up to almost 3 cents, and then we were getting back up to 2.9. And then of course, someone wants to rain on the parade, and of course there we are, get a sell down, and we're currently fighting to hold on to around about 2.8 cents, give or take. That's kind of where we're at the stage on the hourly. Let's go to the daily on Hex. Obviously a good placed accumulation zone, and of course give or take. Now I did see, I was watching, I don't often watch other YouTubers because most of the time I'm trying to think about content and other stuff like that. But I did see a comment, I think it's by Axis, is it, on yesterday, and I thought, oh man, he was talking about 1 cent. I was like, what? Rug that guy off the show. 1 cent, get out of here. All right, so cool. Yeah, people talking about 1 cent a long time. Hopefully we don't get 1 cent, but people got the limit orders in. We're currently at 2.8, and of course we're holding up. I think we've had the worst of the Fed news, to be honest. And even if it goes, terminal rate goes higher, really the stock market's more vulnerable. I hope that we don't have the contagion is contained in crypto. If those two play out, then I think we have a chance for a nice period over the Christmas and New Year. So hopefully that holds up. If we get testnet v3 as well, then hopefully that also supports Hex not getting down to that 1 cent mark. So yeah, don't rug our own price with that. But let's hopefully we keep holding up in this range, because I think it's very important. So yeah, that's a pretty cool place to be. Yeah, we're only got a couple of days at least to go till that period of time. So let's have a look at our full chart. We got the ETH proof of stake fork merge there, block. This was all the way back on the 15th September. Now, why am I keeping the ETH proof of stake in our view is because this is related to Pulsechain, right? We're forking this thing, and it's pretty cool to see how long it takes until we actually get a testnet up with that fork. So here we are. We've got, on the 9th, which was about 24 days later, we had Richard Hart announce the ETH proof of stake was going to be forked rather than the old problematic BSC proof of work version of ETH. And of course, that was exciting to see because it's also upgradable, and I think it's so cool. If we can get all those upgrades as well with the sharding and the roll-ups and get the transactions per second up towards maybe that holy grail of 100,000, that would be pretty cool. Remember, most of the smart contracts are on Ethereum still, even with all these other forks, and of course a lot of them have to build out the ecosystem. Some are doing successfully better than others, and this is looking pretty good for us. So getting this fork is going to be so good. I was so excited. I cannot tell you how excited I was to hear Richard say that on that stream of Hexologists. Here we are at the moment. We're chilling out here on the 15th. So now it's been 3 months since the ETH Proof of Stake fork, and we are chilling it with the homies because this is looking really good in terms of if we can get this out with rumors from KDP and Power City, and of course also some comments there from Warris from Liquid Loans, talking about within the next couple of weeks. So we're going to get a Christmas or a New Year's testnet. That would be super bullish. And that would be, 100 days? 100 days from the proof of stake to get that launched. If we got somewhere around about the 29th of December, so that midpoint area, that'd be pretty awesome. It's 105 days or so, pretty neat. Now, even if we got it into the new year, let's say the 7th of January, that'd be 114 days after the fork there, which is all, 3.5 months or so, almost 4 months. So 4 months would be, about the 13th of January. So anytime before mid-January, I think we'd be pretty stoked. And of course, they have had plenty of time to understand the proof of work version, obviously get their heads around the proof of stake, and of course add in the code around the 0.25% burn fee as well. Maybe change the S-load function, whatever else they're going to do. That's pretty cool. Very excited about that. Just getting a testnet up would be very bullish for the Hex price, and maybe lift us out of a potentiality for it going down to 1 cent. So there we are. I understand that he was just doing analysis, but hey, let's not fud ourselves out of the game park here. So right, so cool, that's where we are at the moment. Obviously, we don't know what the true bottom will be until after it's typically happened. And of course, that's just the way it goes. All right, so cool, let's have a look at the log function here for the weekly, and let's pull out now and have a bit of a look there. We've had those two big things, the CPI and the Fed interest rate. Remember, the next Fed rate hike is in February. It's in February next year, so it's quite a while. We have a bit of a holiday period, and hopefully it is going to be a party time. That's what we're hoping for, and hopefully the centralized exchanges, the CFIs, can keep themselves from falling over, because we don't want that either, or the regulators coming in and doing silly things too. So this is our weekly log function chart here, and of course we've got this long-term resistance. Now obviously we need to get to about 9.5 cents or so, probably just over 9.5 cents. Like if we had Pulsechain testnet 3.3, it's probably the only catalyst out there that's going to get us to this. And I don't expect the wildcard to play out until closer to Pulsechain itself, the mainnet, rather than testnet. So that would be some time off. That could be anywhere up to probably April at this stage. I don't know if the V3 license will hold us off, because they could just do the upgrade, and if they have an asymmetrical approximation, which I believe they've already got, then that would not be an issue. So we'll see. Richard's going to obviously he could take out a few more months. What's a couple more months when you've already been, was it a year and 8 months or something like that? It's been a pretty long time. So cool, that is pretty much it on there. This chart only actually starts here, I just realized that. That's on the weekly. Okay, cool. So let's go back to the daily on this. Spending a bit more time on Hex here. Let me just auto that as well. So we've got this. We're going to take all these off now because we've just had those. And the next one is in February, so a long way to go. We've got a holiday period, a chance to shine. I think we've got a chance to shine here. As long as we don't get more contagion. So let's see how we go. Let's go to the Whalebot and check out some of the comments here. See what has happened here in the last 24 hours. 18 hours ago, we had 4 million Hex in staked. And of course, that was an OG one too. 1,050 days. We had quite a few of these lately, haven't we? And of course, 628 T-shares they'll never be able to get again because of the share rate. So it's gone crazy up and to the right. That's what's happened there. It's crazy stuff. We love this T-share rate, right? Cool. Now, I've already talked about, the last couple of days, I talked about the theoretical shares. Now, obviously, they've been in decline as a trend. But, of course, if we take the public amount of circulating supply at around about 15 billion, then give or take, of course, then that's small. That's like about 1.8. If we maxed out all the bonuses, long pace beta, bigger pace betas, about 1.8 million. But it's not going to get anywhere near that, right? Not going to get anywhere near that. So a fraction of that, even with growth in the marketplace. So it's going to be really, really cool to see that play out. That trend is kind of just one of those things to keep aware of. It's kind of a medium long-term trend thing, but it is bullish for Hex. So it's kind of cool. All right, so cool. Let's jump out away from there. We've got that one came out there. The last one we had was, let me see here. I think I've jumped far too hard. We've had a lot of updates since I last looked at this page. Man, look at all this stuff. My goodness gracious me. All in the last couple of hours. Where did that come from? Okay, that's for 4 million. Okay, we had 49.5 million Hex in staked. 93 days over 113 days. What? What the heck? This one is short long-term stakers, and of course 1.3 million reward there, 1.2 and 1.3 million hex penalty. Not sure what they're doing there, but hey, your friend Somi, who I always like his commentary, Waller F63 is huge, 282 million hex. This penalty paid is nothing for him. 1.2 million hex received. He has 50 million hex due in April 2023, then another 50 million in June 23. He also got scammed in coin like me from TrustSwap ICO, says your friend Sammy there. So that's pretty funny. He put LP of 45 million hex from 2.8 cents to 10 cents. He thinks price is going to move up, apparently, not down to 1 cent like everyone else. Interesting. Now, we just talked about that, didn't we? Just talked about that. Pretty crazy there. All right, so cool. Appreciate that you take the time to check the data and post it. Yeah, very nice as well. So cool. Let's jump out of there. That is interesting. We've got 100,000 and more penalties. Great to be Hexkin, right? And another 100,000 more penalties. Look at these things. 5,000 days, 300 days. That's just crazy. Not sure what they're thinking there. 900,000 there as well. Surely we don't have this many accounts that are getting compromised. It looks pretty sad if it does. Oh my goodness, really? Okay, so that looks some pretty bad stuff going on there. So lots of penalties anyway. And of course, here's another one. My goodness gracious me, look all them all. 5 million hex just in-staked. Reward 7.2 million. That's another OG one there. 1,065 days. 791 T-shares and we'll never get again. They would still get a lot of T-shares, but nothing compared to what they had back then. 500,000 nuked again. Oh my goodness. Where's all this coming from? Crazy stuff. 1 million here and 1.1 million as well. 158 days, 328. Oh my goodness. That doesn't look great to me. Alright, so cool. We love the penalties, but of course someone's paying them, right? And they look pretty bad. Look compromised to me. Hedron, let's get into that though. We've got a couple more comments though in the chat, so let's get to that also. I got my YouTube back up, and that's kind of cool. Let me just set that up. It's a bit easier to see some of the comments from this angle. Let me have a look there. Alright, so cool. I can close this one down that I've got on this computer and have a look over here. Too many screens on one computer, that's why. Where did I get up to here? Let's have a look here. So Brennan says, put him in a rough jail to shake him up a bit to confess. Lol says, well, it's not going to be much fun for him, eh? You know, it's a white collar crime. It's a huge crime, one of the biggest frauds in American history. But you know, you don't want him to be physically, hurt or anything. You know, I'm not. No one's saying that, but it's just you know, it's not great. My most recent spanner are on DS and Corey and ATX, says Hexittle. The kids should be afraid of prison, says Lunacy Point. I want a spanner on Meet Kevin, says Hexittle. Yeah, Meek's. Yeah, I had to. I'm not a big fan of Meet Kevin, so I don't really. Yeah, I'm not sure why you're taking such interest in him. He's not. You know, I don't normally comment on YouTubers, but he's not particularly cool. I'm never there. Too late, he says. Who else there? Wait, says Michael. Wait, what? Yeah, SB. Yeah. Who else is in there? Quality subs. Let's have a look here. Let's go through all those comments. Cool. Was that a hack? Yeah, Newcomb. Yeah, well, it appears to be. I thought you liked his pink hair. Yeah, I like his pink hair. I just don't like his positions that he communicates. It's a bit of a... Yeah, anyway. Cool. Let's move on here. Well, he's not in the Hexkin community, is he? So it's not somebody I really talk too much about. Ted Nelson says, remember that people have committed suicide due to SBF's actions. He says prison for life. Yeah, it does, but it doesn't deserve to be, roughed up or anything. Have there been any confirmed suicides? That's the other thing, Ted. I mean, you're gonna make a claim. I've got to ask the question. Meet Kevin is improving, growing on me, a bit like a BitBoy a bit, but in a different way. Yeah, if he improves, I think that's good, Hexodal. It's just that he's been pretty silly in the last so and so period of time. What was his biggest claim to fame was doing that private equity deal, wasn't it? Where he lost all the money, which is unfortunate for him. But he was pretty much attacking Hex, wasn't he? Quite a bit. I'm pretty sure he was attacking Hex and stuff like that. I'll go double check, but I'm pretty sure he did that. Katie says, I blocked Meet Kevin on Twitter. I had Pink here at one time. No, you did not, Sandy Beach. What? How's that possible? How's that possible? I guess it is possible. All right, we got Hedron there is at 1822, down like Hex is at the moment, just chilling down here like with this chilling down here at the bottom. Nothing much to see here. Well, let's go to the ICOSA and have a look at the HSI auctions as we do every day. We're the only ones. Who's the guy? Crypto Sloth and Maxim, don't they? Aren't they kind of ICOSA Hedron specialists? Are they covering these auctions? Let us know in the chat because they haven't actually watched their shows. 4,987 is the number of HSIs in the liquidity pool, or not liquidity pool, in the liquidation queue. That's what I tried to call it, liquidation queue. And of course, we've got the auction house, and we still don't have the name auction house here, but we're working on it. We're working on it. How many we've got here? 18. Only 18. My goodness. How times have changed. We're only 18 at the moment. Remember, we're going to have quite a lot of T-shares all the way up to Christmas time. So that was what we're expecting to see. Now, let's have a look here. We've got how many big ones here? We had quite a lot of good value the last couple of days. Let's have a look at 300,000, 330. They've all got about two. This got 2.9 billion. These ones have only got 207,000. That might be one to get on early. 7 hours to go though. I'm sure it's going to change by that time. 300,000, 2.9. Yeah, so this one here is sitting here at the moment. It's only got 207 million on there. That might be worth one to track. Maybe all the whales are forgetting about this one, but that one there, it's the opportunity. Yeah, otherwise you can pay 2.9 billion for the rest of them, but maybe that's your expectation in the future. Someone just hasn't bid on this one for some reason. Kind of weird. So cool. That is pretty much that. Let's jump over to Dev Huey. He always brings us the alpha bombs around this ecosystem. 2 of the largest auctions HSIs will be open for bids in a few days. Plus 500 plus T-share HSI. Hey, look. You know, I haven't talked about Poly for a while, but I do wish, man, how much more exciting would this have been if Poly had been bidding on all these? It would have been so cool. Now, I'm not, doing the regret and all that sort of stuff, right? But it would have been quite a different environment for the T-shares biddings. Would have been pretty cool to see that all play out. Unfortunately, it didn't. But we did see, what was it, about 8 exercises. Now, that T-shares are pretty much lost, right? It's a deflation mechanism now. It's become a deflation mechanism. Now the Hedron's not lost, but the Hex is, and of course it will just get burned out. And of course, hopefully people they should be able to good account those, right? So it should be okay. So cool. What else there? What's there? I think that's it. Maybe they can't even good count them. I can't remember now. All right, so cool. That is pretty much it. So we've got these big T-shares coming up: December 16th, 18th, and 19th. 568, 1245, and 1280. Coming up there, and here we are. We're looking at these candles coming up. So still got quite a lot of T-shares coming up for the old Christmas time, which is kind of cool. What's this one here? Here they are here. So 568, 1245, and 1280. So obviously the whales will be hunting those. It's Orca season, folks. It's Orca season. So it's going to be cool. Let's jump to the airdrops. Now, we've got a Discord link. Maybe one of the moderators will post it in the chat there. But if you're looking at airdrops and free claims, obviously the Hex ecosystem has the most. And of course, Pulsechain 2 is going to heaps of them. What other ecosystem has these, man? Welcome to the best crypto on the planet. And of course, only going to get better next year. Even in a recession, we're probably going to be standing out performance there. So cool. We've got Zen at the moment, and we've got Weight Token and a Poor Pleb. And of course, there's a couple others coming up in the future that are in that list in the Discord. So just go to airdrops free claims under the Pulsechain chat, and you'll be able to find them there. Make sure you do your own investment due diligence, checking and all the rest of it. Obviously, there's places to talk about that. The Pulse Police. Talk to the Pulse Police on that. Now, let's have a look at Zen. So Zen at the moment, this is a free mint, so anybody can participate in this one. There's no qualifications for it. You just have to pay the network fee. Obviously, Ethereum is the most expensive, typically about $3, $3.50 in the weekend, something like that. Around, if it's the Gwei's around like 15, 17, something in that ballpark. Now, we've got the price, it's got 50348 on here. So it really has gone down. Obviously, it's got a log function, log 2 function, and some bonuses in there. Basically, that's just got massive inflation at the beginning. If you remember that log function chart, and then of course, basically, you get I think it's close to 60,000 a day, and then in 8 years' time, it's going to be like 10 a day. So obviously, most of the inflation at the beginning. Now, obviously, this is a possible play. So people are minting wallets and possible plays there. I did a video on it the other day. There is a report monitor that you can use that monitors it all too and gives you alerts on when they're due, because if you don't claim it within 7 days after the minting phase is finished, then it all goes. You lose it all. So that's that. A lot of people have done that, by the way. And of course, what I was going to say is that they've got their Zen NFTs coming out potentially within weeks. If that does come out over the Christmas New Year break or leading into Christmas, that would be pretty amazing. And of course, keeping track of Jack Levin is probably important in terms of getting the timing of that, because that's going to have a massive burn in it. Burn potentially if it gets taken up. Obviously, these are unknowns, but suggest they probably will. We'll see. Anyway, so that is the price at the moment. We'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks to this chart, and will we get some little bounce backs and maybe some pretty wild price potential. Let's see. We're going to find out. Now, of course, we've got the wait token. Most people are waiting for that. Actually, we're going to jump to Jack here, because Jack had a little teaser in here 21 hours ago for the Zen. He says, all about proof of work Zen NFTs. Does AI art have anything to do with it? And it gets a little bit of a tease there. So I don't think I listened to that one, but definitely worth trying to check that out on Jack Levin, Mr. Jack Levin on Twitter there. Mr. Jack Levin on Twitter. You can check that out. All right, so cool. We got the wait token. Now, obviously, this is related to the Coast team. And of course, there are people qualify this with 8 different sacrifices. So if you qualify for one of those, liquid loans and things like that, then you might be able to qualify. At the moment, it's at quarter of a penny in a new price range, just trending there. I thought it might actually trend up, but it's just been staying in this range around about quarter of a penny. Now, the Coast, of course, have been making some teasers here with obviously some really epic news lately around the Fiat on-ramp. And of course, potentiality to get USDC, and of course, hey, you could buy more Hex with it, of course, using the on-ramp, so that's kind of cool. Now, they're obviously coming to Pulsechain, so launching on ETH chain first, then Pulsechain. That's cool to see. And of course, we'll have working products on Pulsechain. We're all going to love it. On-ramps, off-ramps are pivotal, key, fundamental, imperative for a flourishing chain. So we're going to have everything, man. We're going to have everything in Pulsechain. It's so good. We don't make forward-looking statements, but wait future development, utility, etc. But when we complete work, we will tell you all Ethereum and eventually Pulsechain. So bullish stuff there. That's 20 hours ago. That update there, 20 hours ago. I see here they've got, hey, Geni crypto community. We know you're excited for the launch of Geni, but I'd like to stress the importance of ensuring the safety of a new contract. The code is not verified on Etherscan, so the safety can't be reviewed by third parties. Be careful out there. So obviously that's talking about Geni. Now, I haven't been a big fan of this, so make sure you do your investment due diligence on that one. Someone mentioned that earlier in the chat there. Coast says more details about Wait V2 coming soon. So that was a nice big teaser 19 hours ago. More details about Wait V2 coming soon. Stay tuned for that. So these guys are full of surprises. And maybe they'll, at the moment, I got them, they bring some top utilities to Pulsechain, obviously. But of course, we're waiting to see the delivery, right? The actions speak louder than the words. So I'm excited, I'm optimistic, and looking forward to potentially Coast being one of the, having their names in the top tier utilities cemented, as it were. I think they definitely signaled they're heading in the right direction. They sound pretty good. They're doing cool things. They've been working on these legal sides of things, which actually take a lot more time than just writing a DApp, for example. They've had to do all the legal groundwork as well with the on-ramp, fiat ramp there. And of course, they've got the CST stablecoin coming. Probably one of at least 4 to 5 stablecoins that are going to be native to Pulsechain. It's going to be pretty cool. Now, maybe not exclusive to Pulsechain like BankX. It won't be exclusive. Obviously, it's going multi-chain. But it's good to see that playing out there. Cool. What else there? I think that's it from the Wait token there. Yeah, this was the last update. We've talked about this. We have secured a banking partner for our fiat on-ramp, final screens design, and of course, hopefully we'll have that soon. The minimum viable product will allow you to buy USDC on Ethereum while we build out Pulsechain infrastructure. I'm very, very excited. So stay tuned for more from this team. That is pretty much that one. Oh, I've lost the edge. I lost the final one there. I was supposed to talk about the poor pleb. Poor pleb there. Let's go to poor pleb because I actually lost the screen. Let's go to poor pleb. Poor pleb here. All right, cool. Let's get up to here. So this is the other one that you can qualify for. I haven't actually, this one here is like $10 to $1,000 for the qualification. You have to check here. It's definitely, I thought it was 69 days that it's running. 44 days into it, so you have to check whether it's still open, but I believe it is for at least another 20 days or so. So check that. It's currently at 503,000 is the old Paul Pleb. So you can find all those in Discord under the airdrop free claims if you want to check them all out and see whether you qualify, or you can just mint Zen if you didn't. Kind of cool. All right, so let's close out of some of this. I'm just going to close out all these screens here. We've got Pulse Bitcoin. Pulse Bitcoin, man, it has been the talk of the town. And of course, we've seen some divergence here. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But before we do that, let's get back into the comments because we've probably got quite a few comments in the house. Let's see here. Let's go here. Mitch is arrogant where Kevin seems decently humble. Okay, I might watch a bit more. I might check Kevin out again, see whether he's changed his tune. One of the nice things about the Oryx wallet is that it shows you the current GUI in your wallet. Yeah, well, Oryx has got a lot of cool things. I probably will do some coverage of Oryx, the Oryx wallet there, Ted. That's obviously from Randy Alaski doing that. Our PLSX stacks are pumping from the weight itself as more people learn about and are ready for FOMO. I agree with you, Hexodal. That's definitely a big pumpometer for Pulse and PulseX. Sandy is waiting for the weight token. It's probably looking pretty good at this stage. They're looks like it's going to have some utility and sitting behind it. Could be very bullish for the weight token. Let me see. I don't think a new staker is going to be out by the time the safe claim. Yeah, well, he was talking about a surprise. Staker app, Steph was talking about a surprise before Christmas, wasn't he? So isn't it pretty imminent? He may come out with some news around about that, Hexodal. Certainly, I question him about V2 coming out for the staker app. So hopefully we get something around that. Because that, man, the UI looks so good. This is months and months and months and months ago. And I just wish they had just launched the V2. And if they have Pulsechain, can't they just turn it on like a module? Just had to sort of toggle it on or off. So hopefully we get that because the UI looks so much like I mean I enjoy the phone as it is at the moment, V1, but V2 looks so cool with some of those features. They really have gamified it really nicely with the visual art as well. I think that's probably it. What else there? Jump through. Hey, Property Review in house. Good show today. Good to see Property Review. And of course, Lammy's in house. Sam Britton has just been warned to stay away from Richard's LV luggage. That's pretty funny. Space D007. Any news about Pulse Litecoin in the Pulse Litecoin? Pulse Litecoin. All right. And the Pulse. No, I haven't heard anything since that. We haven't heard anything. We may get some news around the end of the transform. It's probably when the dev might release that. Nothing from the dev today though. So here is Pulse Bitcoin at $2.55. Woohoo! Pulse Bitcoin, $2.55. Now remember, there's just over 1 million. It's probably heading towards, I think, 1,050,000 Pulse Bitcoin in circulation, and about 2.5 million mined so far. And here it is, $2.55. So the price has actually come down here, peaked up here with the local high of $3.60. I don't include the first day because it's really kind of crappy, right? But this is kind of the first real true high here, up to $3.60. That's kind of where we are with Pulse Bitcoin. But the party has been happening with Pulse Dogecoin. Man, oh man, oh man, look at this thing. Woohoo! A new all-time high, broke the double top, and of course yesterday the high was $11.45. Yeah, boy! Up and to the right, man. Up and to the right. Is that cool? Hey, getting over $10, it's got to defend this now and move higher. But the fact that it's got over $10 now, that's really helping a lot. And if the whales can keep up the support, and of course they get the growth with these competitions keeps going, then maybe this thing will fulfill its vision or destiny of holding up higher value and increasing its value over time. It's going to be interesting to see that. Obviously, if any of the whales dump, then they can wreck the chart. So we'll see whether the whales can stay together. So I think I remember. I don't want to say too many stuff about remembrance because in case I'm wrong about that. But Wolverine has been pretty key in this play here. All right, so cool. We got the transform is about to end in a couple of days, less than 7 days now. You can see that, and of course, maybe we'll get even more fireworks leading into this. Maybe we'll get fireworks afterwards. We will see. But it's definitely been pretty exciting. Currently at $10.18. trying to hold on to that $10. I think it's pretty important that it does it. And of course, really, will people play the long game, or will it just take a couple of people to sell with big enough bags? We will see. It's kind of where we are there at the moment. The asset token, of course, the ratio is 5-1 with the transform, so this is still holding up as well. Yesterday, the asset token got up to $2.20 and is currently at $2.05. Obviously, after this transform finishes, then the asset token is going to be decoupled, right? It will be decoupled, presumably, and we will see what happens here. And then the ATM, maybe the ATMs become more valuable too. Obviously, they're not earning Pulse Bitcoin while they're accumulating asset tokens, but maybe the asset token becomes even more valuable. Obviously, Pulse Litecoin expected as well. So that's what Space D007 said as well. We're expecting that. So that will probably come out. That makes asset token more valuable. It's a dual token, using your asset token to mine two tokens. Two tokens. All right, so cool. We're excited about that. $2.05. That's kind of where that's playing. So looking pretty good. And Pulse Bitcoin come down. So far, it's kind of played into what I've been saying, right? The ASICs and the ATMs at the top. And of course, the Pulse Bitcoin and the Pulse, the Pulse Dogecoin down as well. But at the moment, that was until the transform finished. Transform's not finished yet, right? So there we are. Now we've got the play of Pulse Dogecoin playing out at $10.18 as we lead up to the end of transform. We will see how that can hold up value after that, because the burn's been massive, right? The burn's been massive. 5 days and 16 hours to go. 5 days and 16 hours to go to the end of the transform. And of course, you transform your Pulse Dogecoin, 3.3 million so far, into almost 16.4 million asset tokens. 54.59% of Pulse Dogecoin has been burned, making it pretty scarce now. My question about this was the meme coin value and, of course, the competition between the other coins in the ecosystem. But, of course, if you can counter both of those, I guess, if you grow your community, which is pretty true for all communities, right? If you grow your communities, then you can counterbalance that, and, of course, the whole ecosystem can flourish even more based on the marginal price. That being said, of course, the more people hodl, as Richard Hart always says, the number one things why coins go up is people buy it and hold it, and they don't sell it. So you got more buying than sellers. That's pretty much how it goes. But of course, market collusion always gets wrecked by some little player that wants to take out take all the coins out of the pool, as it were. So it's just the way it goes with the AMMs there. We've got Rarible and OpenSea. We've got 2,663 ATMs at the moment, 977,000 points left in there. Not a lot, man. Not a lot. So I haven't been looking at the trading value. I'm just imagining that these are going to get priced up over time, especially after the transform. And of course, global redeemed ATMs, 3.6 million points. Most of that's being used to mine, of course. And let's have a look here. 7,581 miners. Obviously, they want to get this number up, and up. This key miners number, and of course there's 20 million asset tokens is mined. This has gone up. I remember it was under 20 million. It was at 19 million, it doesn't have decimal places, but over 19 million. Now it's over 20. 35,000 asset has been burned, and of course we're on day 55, so we should see in about 5 days time, we should see a lot of people being able to claim their mines. And then they might stop their mine, and of course then restake their asset tokens and pay more burning fees. So we will see this number jump up. All these numbers jump. In particular, this number here, the Pulse Bitcoin mine so far, 2,529,000. This will jump up dramatically because it seems to be forward-looking for people mine. So that's going to be pretty cool to see where that goes to. As well, so cool. And of course, more asset tokens have been transformed, so you got more supply in there mining. So cool. It's going to be fun to see all that play out. That is pretty much it. Wolverine, of course, has been spurring the charge for growth, and of course has put this big 10,000 Pulse Bitcoin up for grabs, which is worth what, 26,000 or so at the moment, US dollars, free Pulse Bitcoin. We'll see how it goes. I wouldn't laugh if it goes to Abed or something like that. Abed's girlfriend, I can't remember her name, but it could go there. That would be pretty funny. But lots of people in the house trying to win this, of course. So you can find that in Wolverine. Wolverine _2241. I think it's still open to participate, but you can check that out yourself here at the top. Cool. That is pretty much it on the Wolverine. Let's see how we're doing with time here. An hour and 9 minutes, so we're doing pretty good. Let's jump out of here. We're going to get into the Hex daily stats. Richard Hart hasn't got really much up here at the moment. It's been very quiet lately. Obviously talking about freedom and things like that, which we all agree with. But quiet before the storm, maybe. quite before the testnet V3. Hopefully that's a signal there. Anyway, we're going to get to day 1,108 on the Hex Daily Stats, and then we're going to get into our poll. So stay tuned for that's coming up. Before we do that, though, we've got a couple more comments in the chat. Let's go see who's in the house. We've got, yeah, boy, says Michael. When Wolverine interviewed lol, says Sandy Beach. Not sure what you're talking about there, Sandy. Not sure what you're talking about. Are these pumps during a bear market are decorrelated from the macro, says Hex Huddle. These pumps during a bear market are decorrelated from the macro. Hex Huddle says, like when Hedron did a 30x in summer. Yeah, true that. Jury Hex, that's it, Sandy Beach. Yeah, sorry, a Jury Hex. There, pay my respects, as it were. She might win with her video. All right, so I think she got, over 50,000 views on her TikTok or something, didn't she? Something like that. That should put her in good standing. Michael says, Wolverine, any other characters we should be watching, says Michael. Well, not for Pulse Bitcoin. There's Pepe as well. Pepe's a whale in the old Pulse Bitcoin. I did an interview with him. He's very, very nice chap, very knowledgeable too. You can check his interview out that I had a couple of weeks back. Michael was saying for us newbies, yeah. Hey, Michael, get into our Discord and get chatting away with lots of people. We've got lots of cool people in the chat there in the Discord, so it's a good place to start off with. And of course, you can ask a lot of people in there, our community leaders and our moderators, who they like to listen to. You can listen to that too. All right, so day 1,108 with the 14th of December, we got the price at 2.794, so just under 2.8 cents, down 1.5% from the day before. We've got the payout per T-share is 6.5. Hey, look, if you haven't checked out hex.com, the link's in the video description. If you have any questions, get into our Discord, and of course, we've got plenty of people who can help you with that. Obviously, do your own investment due diligence. Nothing on this channel is investment advice, just my opinions. But man, 6.5. If you got T-shares in Hex, that is the magic sauce in Hex, is getting those T-shares. It's inverted commas, your money printer, crypto printer, as it were, and of course minting your Hex, basically. So technically it's minting your Hex. It's a Hex printer, but 6.5 is amazing, and we've had just so many good days earning these high Hex stakes. We've had so many penalties for some reason, but hey, look, we're enjoying it. It's pretty cool. T-share rate is up 3.8 to 25,271. If you're new to Hex, the T-share rate is really the secret sauce, or the special one of the special features in the Hex ecosystem. There are others, but this is really the underlying, the mathematical one, and it reflects compound interest, and of course makes the fact that longer pays better all the time. So it's pretty cool. It also leaves a bit of meat on the bone, as we say, inverted commas, meaning that it kind of gives you that fair entry for everybody, and no matter what time it is. So it's kind of cool like that. T-share rate, T-share price is $706. So you take the share rate there and multiply it by the Hex price, you get the share price there, $706 for a T-share. Way back on, I think it was the 5th of January 2020, this was 60 cents. It's now $706, and this is relatively cheap because it has been over $9,000 when Hex was up at around 52 cents. So that's pretty good from that point of view. Now, increase in the T-share rate, 7.8 as I said. The average stake length, 6.74 years, same as the last couple of days. The APY, the annual percentage yield rate, yield and emergency in-state penalties. That yield is pretty much reflecting inflation in the system. So we've got nominal inflation up to 3.69%, but actually effective inflation is actually much lower. I think that we saw the number the other day on the Whalebot of about 1.3, 1.4%, somewhere in that ballpark. And of course, I have 1.37 in my mind, but I'm not exactly sure that's the exact number. But anyway, it's down really low. And of course, we've got a number of mechanisms in the Hex ecosystem that help that along, including the Origin account, which I kind of see like a financial operator. And of course, it can play different roles there between staking, regulating the APY, and also getting 50% of the penalties in the inflation system as well. So cool. We got 37.76% yesterday, but 38.9. Look at these rates, absolutely awesome. Hex is so special from that point of view. Liquidity in the pool, we got 369, almost 370 million Hex in the pool at the moment. That's an all-time high actually in this liquidity. So obviously we've had some liquidity changes in the pool there. We got 10.6 million in US dollars and 1,352 ETH at the moment. What else have we got going there? T-shares down 170. So Hex is easy to understand. We have an ownership pool with inflation and penalties, and we have a reward pool with let me start again. We have a reward pool with inflation and penalties, and we have an ownership pool with T-shares, which stands for trillions of shares. And of course, if one of those goes up or down, then the Hex payout from the reward to the ownerships pool is goes up or down slightly. So pretty much just going up. So it's pretty cool. All right, so cool. That is pretty neat. Only 170. That's pretty nothing bigger. We're sitting at 10,260,000. Amazing. And as I said, that the actually theoretical T-shares is actually really low now. And even in actuality, that the T-share, I said about 1.8 million based on the circulating supply. Even that is well lower than that because we know that percentage does not even get hit. So actually, I expect T-shares, even with growth, to slowly decline over time, and of course the Hex payout per T-share to go up. It's going to be so cool. It's even with growth, so it's going to be fun to see. Now we have seen some unusual jumps when we had Maximus come out, where they're staking 1.1 billion, Hex with their perpetuals and their Maxi product. But apart from that, it's been, it's very rare to get that. We also saw before that we saw the Hex Godwell do one as push that out too, so that was pretty cool. They are the big candles out 15 years from now. All right, so cool. What else? We got stake percentage of coins. 9.7% of all Hex is staked. Almost 5 million in penalties, and we went through those on the whale bot tweet there. So yeah, 5 million, another good day. Look at that, 8 out of the last 10 days, over 1 million Hex penalties. spectacular. And of course the growth in numbers. Okay, so wallets are down 206 to 314,000. We've had some really unusual numbers the last 10 days. Don't you all agree? We've had some really weird numbers coming on this update here. We've had stakers are up 29 though. Looks like staker numbers are starting to recover here, up to 116,230. And of course total holders up 166 to 516,833. And we're on day 1,109 in our 4th year, and just chilling it with the homies. We're currently already got 1.7 million in penalties at the beginning of the day. What? And we're at 6.3 their Hex per T-share already. That's crazy to being Hexkin and getting those T-shares. Pretty cool. Right, that's pretty much it. Let's get to our poll. Let's update those. I put this on the community tab on Hex Token, so you can check this out. We've got 237 votes. There are 424,536 Hex T-shares stakes today. There are 424,536 Hex stakes today. What approximate percentage of these Hex stakes are staked for 5,555 days or 15.2 years? So out of these 424,536 Hex stakes, the day that just finished, how many of those, what percentage are staked for 15.2 years? Put it in the chat there if you know the answer there as well. I'll give you a minute to do that. Put in the percentage that you think is the answer. I'll give you a minute to do it. That's a bit of fun. Meanwhile, I'm going to read some of the comments here. Michael says, Wolverine, any other? I think we got up to that. I was wondering if you were going to interview Wolverine, says Sandy Beach. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Sandy Beach. Not sure what you're talking about. Michael, it seems in there. Yes, sir, thank you. You're welcome there, Michael. All right, get into the chat there. Let's see if we've got any numbers. Ted Nelson says 12%. Let's see who else has got any numbers here before I go through and give you the answers. Normally I do price polls, right? Normally I do price polls. Brennan says 10%. Who else is there? Yeah, you're putting your reputation on the line when you're putting your answer in the chat there. But hey, it's a bit of fun. We'll give it another 30 seconds. That's how we roll on this channel. How we're doing for live stream? We're up to 1 hour and 18 minutes, so a little bit longer than normal, but let's see how we go. 10% says Brennan. That's it. I think that's probably it. Is that the last one we're going to get? Okay, so here we are. Let's go for it. We got out of 237 votes in 14 hours, only 14 hours. We got 36% said 8% of these 424,000 stakes are for 15.2 years. We got 9% said that 10% are. We got 11% that said 12% are. We got 14% that said 15% are staked for 15.2 years. And we got 21% that said 19% is staked for 15.2 years or 5,505 days. Crazy. Now, I watched the opening of this. I watched the opening of this poll, and it was bizarre. It was so bizarre. All right, so the answer is there are 50 out of this 424,536 Hex stakes based on yesterday's data. There is 50,049 that are staked for 5,555 days. So 50,049, which means that 12% is the correct answer. So 12% is the correct answer. Now, the funny thing was that when I put this poll out, it wasn't until 17 votes in that someone voted for 12%. Everyone voted for 8%, 10%, 15%, or 19%. It was so peculiar. I was like that's so weird. And then I thought, is it just the psychology of the way the poll is set up, where you have the middle one, and people go, it can't be the middle one, it's got to be one of the other two. But yeah, it was pretty weird. So 12% is the correct answer. So Ted, you got that right. Brendan, you're pretty close with 10%, but yeah. And of course, Hex percentage by Hex or stakes, nice by stakes. So yeah. All right, so cool. That is the answer. So I hope that was a fun poll. It was a bit of fun, really. And we've got a couple of comments in there as well. Let's have a look what the comments are. We got, what's the answer? What's the answer there? All right, what did I write? Yeah, well, I'll say on live show there. So yeah, we'll put in the answer there. 12%. 12% is the answer. So 50,049. 50,049 stakes. All right, so cool. That is one there, and very nice. All right, so that was a fun poll. I'll probably put out some more like that because it's always fun to see. Very cool. And Hexol says nice. Wookie says 12%. Cream is probably holding the most 555s. Probably Exodal. Probably. We haven't seen him for a while though, have we? Cream the Dream. Man, if you ever want to get hyped up about staking 15.2 years of 555 maxi stakes, then you got to watch Cream the Dream. I don't know if anyone's more charismatic about and passionate about the 15.2 year stakes than Cream the Dream. But not all of his stakes are 15.2 years, right? I'm pretty sure that he said that he's pretty much staked from 10 to 15 years, which is mathematically the best. 15 years. The return on that last 5 years between 10 and 15 is just huge in the staking. It's massive. Brian says 8% of my stakes, says Brian. All right, you're pretty close then. You're pretty close. The least voted answer, I voted for the most, says Hexodol. Nice one, nice. All right, so cool. That is pretty much it. So let's jump back to the Hex price. At the moment, Hex is at 2.788 cents. And we've got the crypto market at the moment holding up 17,800 for BTC, $1,306 for ETH. That is pretty much it today's live stream. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and of course catch me tomorrow. I will try and post short form videos. I'm going to paste the whole Federal Reserve interview after the live stream. Maybe I should do it on those things where everyone can chat in the comments. We'll see. What is it called? A premiere? I might post it as a premiere. I haven't done it for ages. The problem is a premiere, they paste that funny music and video countdown at the beginning, which I don't like. But apart from that, we might do that. All right, so cool. Hope you guys have enjoyed yourself, and I've had a lot of fun. Onwards and upwards, man. Bring on Pulsechain Testnet V3. That's what we're all hoping on for. Hopefully, we'll get that in due course. That'd be pretty cool. All right, cool. Exodal says we can change the votes. Just voted for the 12% correct one. Nice one there, Exodal. And Toxic says liked. Yeah, thanks, Superman says Katie. You're welcome. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next one. Don't forget to join our Discord. The link's in the video description. And, of course, hope to see you there. Now, if you want to join as a member of this channel, of course, and then get in there, we've got Pulsechain, Hexskins, and Richard Hart Club. Just hit the join button, and you can join up for that. I think someone did during the live stream, so a big shout-out to them for that one. All right, take care, everybody. Toxic Hedgehog is in the chat, yeah. All right, Brennan says, cheers, Superman, for the alpha. RH Max is live, says Hexodal, and good stuff, boss. Says Brian, hey, good one, and I'll catch you guys all in Discord there. Let me just play out this on the way out. All right, cool. All right, take care, everybody. Bye for now.